Hey everybody, I'm sorry that about this is actually going to be a two-part video. But before I get to that, let me explain that last week I was going to, last Tuesday I was going to do a post video on the Monday night game with the Browns, and I didn't do that because I had a doctor's appointment on Tuesday, and I had a few shots and I didn't respond very well to them. I kind of got a little ill from that. But I'm fine now. Um, but um, but in this video, I will talk about that game, the Browns and the 49ers. But this is also going to be a video where we look ahead to the Rams and the 49ers. And I guess I'll start off with the Rams and the 49ers because, the game is today. So I'll talk a little bit about that. And then in the second half of the video, I'll talk about my thoughts on last Monday night's game. The Rams game is going to be, I think it's going to be a hard fought game. And it may end up being a defensive game. Now, the reason why I say that is because, well, our defense is good. I mean, I mean, most analysts will tell you our defense is good, our pass rush is good. We are playing good defense right now. And, and then, the Rams, they have some good pieces on defense as well. Um, and so, it could be a defensive battle. Now on the 49ers offense, um, they're missing some key players due to injury. McGlinchey is out, Joe Staley is out, Kyle Juszczyk is out, and these guys are very big when it comes to the 49ers offensive line. And because like Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback, he opens up holes for Matt Breida, and he blocks for Matt Breida and those other running backs, and that's why the running game looks so good. So it's going to look a little different. I'm sure they're going to put another person out there that maybe one of the tight ends, put one of the tight ends out there to do the blocking for the running back. So we'll see what happens with that. And speaking of tight ends, I guess George Kittle was not really. I guess there was a question. He was looked at upon as being questionable for today's game because of he had a groin injury, I believe, and so he's. But Kyle Shanahan says that he expects him to play, so he'll be out. He'll be playing, but probably limited. Um, But I think it's a game the 49ers can win. I do. I think the Rams, they're having struggles right now. They have injuries too. They got guys out. Matthews is out. Dodd Gurley is out. Their corner T-Lab, I believe his name is. He's out, and I think that so it might be actually a pretty competitive game. Both teams go into this game kind of limping. So, but the Niners can't. The Niners got to realize that the Rams going into this game are going to be probably fired up. I mean, the Rams have lost two games already in a row, and I have to believe that that's going to have them up for this game. They're going to because they could fall right off of the equation on the when you look at the NFC West and you look at the standings, the Rams could fall way off. If they lose a third game in a row, then that's going to make the 49ers and the Seahawks the two dominant teams in the division, and LA is going to be kind of trying to crawl back out of the hole. But so they're going to come out with a fight. They're going to come out trying to prove something. 49ers have got to be ready for that. And they got to do a better job protecting. Our offensive line is going to do a better job of protecting Jimmy Garoppolo in this game because two of our starting tackles are out. So that's really important. Now I hear a lot of people say that for this game, Jimmy Garoppolo has got to be, he's got to put on a show. This is his game. This is his breakout game, and all this because people say he hasn't done enough, and he's not looking like the Jimmy that everybody expected him to be. Well, you got to understand this. Jimmy Garoppolo is coming off an ACL injury, and usually when players come off an ACL injury, they're not who they're not themselves just yet. And it's still early in the season, and Kyle Shanahan has been using the running game a lot, which is taking pressure off Jimmy, so he's not being really able to do a lot of throwing. But I think we got to kind of just try to give Jimmy Garoppolo a chance to kind of get caught up in where he needs to be. I just hear all these analysts out there saying that he's got to be better than he is, and I think he's doing just fine. Like I said in the past, for a guy that's coming off an ACL, this early in the season, he's just getting started. He's doing just fine. He hasn't done anything to ruin a game or cost us a game, but he'll be fine. Um, Another area that I have a concern is the kicking game. Because Robbie Gould has missed some kicks in the last game, and he missed a lot. I think three of them. I think, and I believe that's due to a bad hold. After the snap, I think it's a bad hold, and the analysts on the Monday night game had pointed that out, and they got to get that fixed. They got to get that worked out because this game here, what if it comes down to that moment, where Robbie Gould needs to kick a field goal for us to win, and if he misses, we lose. So they got to get that thing down really perfect. The holding the snap and the ball, the ball snapped, hold the ball down for the kicker. They got to get that. They got to get that cleaned up. But I think it's going to be a competitive game. I think the Rams. I think we can beat the Rams, but we have to be good. I mean, we have to be perfect. We can't look at the Rams and say, well, they got all these injuries. They've been struggling. It should be kind of easy. This is not the Rams of last year, but you can't go into a game with that kind of attitude. They need to play the Rams like they're playing last year's Rams team. So, and that's what they're going to have to do. So, but I think we'll be all right in this. I think we'll quite honestly, I think we're gonna do really fine in it. But we just got to go out there and handle business and do things the way we're supposed to do them, and not make mistakes and things like that. But it's going to be an interesting game. But I think that like as far as the injuries go, like Mike, McGlinchey, I think that his injury. It was been rumored that his injury's been bothering him, and he's been playing with this injury, and maybe that's why in some of these games you see defensive players getting to Jimmy Garoppolo because he's unable to protect Jimmy because his injury is kind of limiting him, and some people think that he's been playing through an injury and keeping it a secret. So now that he's not out, now that he's not playing, they put a healthier guy in his place, and maybe we'll see better things, better protection for Jimmy. I really hope Jimmy does have a good game. I think that if he doesn't, all the critics and Stephen A. Smith and all of them will come out and say Jimmy Garoppolo is just not the guy they thought he was going to be, and all this blah 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 blah. Got to win this game too, because if we don't win this game, a lot of people are going to say, well, we kind of figured it was just luck. They just got lucky. I really believe we have a good football team, and it's a growing football team, and it's a learning football team, and it's starting to recognize itself. If we lose, we do know that we're heading in the right direction. So, but we can't think about losing. We want to win. We want to keep this going, and it's really important to keep it going. I mean, because you think about this, if we can get to, if we can get to, like let's say okay, the next game after this game we have the Redskins, and then after the Redskins we have the Panthers. So I think that after this game, the the next couple of games should be pretty, I think, pretty winnable, and then we can go into that. We can go into that Seahawk Monday night game. Well, no, actually, then there's the Cardinals. Yeah, after the Panthers, there's the Cardinals. So I think those are three winnable games. After this one, the Redskins, the Panthers, and the Cardinals. I believe those are winnable games, and if we can win those games, we'll have a good record going into the Monday night game against Seattle. So, yeah, I just have to believe we're going to be fine. But going back to, so I'm gonna. That's about all I'm gonna really say on the Rams 49er game. But so let me go back because I didn't do a video on the Browns and 49ers because like I said in the beginning of the video, I wasn't feeling good. I was gonna do it, but I didn't. So I'm gonna kind of squeeze it into this video. But the Browns game with the 49ers, I was amazed. I thought the 49ers did a fantastic job out there. Um, I was kind of a little bit, uncertain about, what kind of game it was going to be because I know that the Browns, you know, wasn't sure what Brown team was going to show up on that Monday night game. Were you going to see the team that was been struggling in the early part of the season, or were we going to see the Browns team that destroyed the Ravens? So, I didn't know which team was going to show up, but our guys played solid, and I'm really proud of them. I think they did an outstanding job. The running game was just unbelievable, and our defense is just so stout. I can't say enough for our defense. Our defense is playing really, really well. And Nick Bosa, we got our draft's worth. Because I remember back in the draft, everybody was talking about, oh, we should skip Nick Bosa and take Josh Allen, the linebacker from Kentucky. We should get him, and all these other guys, they were talking about getting other defensive players over Nick Bosa, and I just kind of stuck with at first I liked the idea of Josh Allen, but then I thought that Nick Bosa might be a better choice and a good fit for us, and he was he ended up being a good fit for us because he's a player that really, he plays with intensity. He plays to win, and he just plays for to win and to and I just like a player like that who's that way. He wants to win, and he could be a great player in the NFL. We'll see what happens, but I'm so proud of the guy. The guy is playing really, really good, and I'm happy about our running game. I think our running game is doing good. Matt Breida is having a heck of a season. We have a good running backs, so I'm really happy about that. And it's a good start. Getting off 4-0, it's a good start. A lot of analysts didn't see this coming. A lot of analysts at this point had us out of the season and finished at this point. A lot of them did, and I can tell when I look at these people on ESPN and the NFL Network. They're always they seem disappointed every time we win, and probably because it makes them look unprofessional and makes their analyzing teams look unprofessional because they have us as a loser. So we're winning now, and now they have to take a look at us now. But I kind of like being under the radar because a team usually responds when they hear people being naysayers about them, that the people not giving them a chance. I know that can thrive a team, and It's kind of like, that's kind of like the way it was back in 2011. I remember that first Harbaugh team. You know, that team was not expected to have a good season because the year before that they had a terrible season and they weren't expecting to do anything in 2011. And that team got onto a roll, and they got all the way to the NFC Championship game that year. Um, this team kind of feels like that team in some ways. And the formula that they were using, like last Monday night, kind of reminded me of the 2011 Niners. You run the football, you play good defense, and you run the football, and impose your will on people. That's how the Niners looked on that Cleveland Browns game. Um, so I was really amazed how well they're playing, and it really was something. I was really proud of my team. But to all you Cleveland Brown fans out there, don't despair about your team. Your team will be fine, despite what some of these people are saying. They'll be fine. Um, Sometimes, when you're building something and you're putting something together, putting a team together, sometimes there's going to be times of struggles, times of growing pains. But in the long run, it will all come together and gel. And I'm sure it'll work out for you guys eventually. It will. And good luck with your game today against the Seahawks. But I think that you guys will be fine. Just give it time. I mean, my team, I've been waiting a long time for them to start winning again. I mean, they've only got 4 wins right so far, so I don't want to speak too soon. But you know, sometimes it takes a while. But you know, be patient with your team. They'll get this thing figured out. I'm pretty sure the Browns will. They have talented guys on that team. Um, but anyways, yeah, I think that that's all I want to say about the Browns game. I think it was my team played well. It could have been, it could have been a closer game. That pass that Mayfield threw that bounced off one of the receivers' hands and into the hands of the 49ers. And if that Browns receiver had caught it in the end zone, the Niners would be ahead 14-10. It would be a 4-point game, and who knows, could have turned into a better game. I think that was really the teetering point right there in that game. On which way the game was going to go, but those things happen. You know, but that's all I want to say about about the Browns and last week's game, the Browns and 49ers, and so I'm looking forward to today's game, see how it's going to play out, and then later I'll probably do a after video, of the game. So everybody take care, and I'll do a video later. All right, take care, everybody.